Good morning. Hey, there we go. How are
How
you?
you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Hey, if you like, you can turn your camera so it's the long ways like that, landscape, and then it will fill the screen.
You mean like that?
Yeah, that's it. That's very good. And then, yeah, just it. There we go. Fantastic. Well, so good to be on the call with you, Neil. Thank you for booking
There you
this
go.
call.
Yeah,
It's
no
always
problem.
good to meet new folk in the community and see how we can help you in this business.
Yep.
Did you get a chance to watch my short little video? That might save us time.
Just your intro video about yourself?
Yeah,
Yes, I did.
fantastic. So tell us about your journey and tell us how I can help you in this business.
So, I kind of dabbled in real estate 20 years ago
Okay.
and just on the more traditional side. So, land sales for a company, and, I had my real estate license. Um, I got my broker's license, and then shortly after that, I just really didn't have a ton of interest in real estate. Um, I took a commercial course from J. Scott Shield. One of my buddies was in the residential, like rehab, fix and flip game. He did a lot of short sales, things like that. And I just kind of never gained traction. So kind of walked away from real estate altogether. Um, Thought it was kind of like, you had to have a lot of money to do it.
Yeah.
And I just was not there yet. So I was like, well, when I have time for it, I'll come back to it, right? And so fast forward years later, um, I somehow, some way, I don't know if it was through like uh, a Brad Lee podcast or something like that, but Pace Moore became one there, and he started talking about creative real estate, and I started hearing some of the terms that I was familiar with. I was like, oh, this is interesting, and it sounds more exciting, right? So a few years ago, he did the Elephant Challenge, and I kind of jumped in on the very first one. And then he launched Gator, and I got in with that community. Didn't really have a lot of success with Gator. Um, the EMD stuff and everything like that was very difficult to um, find opportunities, if you will.
Mm.
But I was able to find a lot of private money lending opportunities.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where I sunk my feet into for the last year and a half or so. And now I'm just taking a breath of air here and trying to jump back into the original intent, which was to fund EMD and double closes.
Mm.
So that is um, that's my main thing right now. So
Okay.
building my social media platforms, building connections with wholesalers, and trying to fund deals. So
Okay, very good. So you're concentrating mainly at the small end of real estate. You mentioned when you first time around the commercial side of it, have you been tempted in any way to do the commercial?
I would have some interest in anything like multifamily,
Hmm.
so apartment complexes or um, storage units,
Okay, very good.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
But not, I don't really like have a desire to look at like shopping centers or anything like that. You
Right,
know,
right, right.
I think there's some niches out there to take old malls and
Hmm.
things that are been changing because of the internet and all these other services and competition. Um, I like the idea that, some people have to change these big buildings into different, uses, so
Right, right.
what maybe once was a Sears or a J.C. Penney is now um, a
Although,
church
so
or
yeah, and
another type of
society is
facility,
changing so much as well, isn't it? So Shopping malls, yeah, are the thing. But I'm pleased to hear that you're interested in the multifamily. As I wrote a little book called Cautionary Tales from Real Estate Investing, because the first time round, and as you saw from the video, I made lots of mistakes. It was small multi-families, so it was a nightmare finding management for that, and it's too small to truly scale when it comes to employees and things. So I found myself a couple of weeks back in a class, a 3-day training event on large multifamilies, and it made
Mhm.
so much sense. And the good news is, like you said earlier, you think you need lots of money. Well, you don't. You need to be able to raise the money, right? That's
Right,
what it's
right.
about.
That's right. Yep.
Finding those who have money but want to deploy it. So that's where the skills come in. And you've already mentioned you've got those skills, which is fantastic. So from your story, I would say it makes a lot of sense for you to take a serious look at the large multifamily size. The
Hmm.
AMD alone starts at 100,000 because we're talking about 10 million to acquire these, all the way up to 100 million, you see. So
Right,
you're gonna get much more reward as well, playing with the bigger numbers than the smaller numbers with single family homes. And you probably noticed from Pace was his main wealth is coming from large multifamilies, with
that's right.
Jetty and everything else. He
Hmm.
understands how it all works. He's got a sub two fund for both accredited and non-accredited investors. And so that's the bulk of where he makes his money. Yeah, he makes money with sub two deals on single family homes. Yeah, but if you notice, even those are, pad splits or something like that. He really maximizes the amount of return for each door on a single family. And
Right,
so, you know, so that really is a good way of building up, wealth and getting to your goals without that frustration of just being paid, a couple of $1,000s when you close a deal. I mean, that's just so frustrating.
hmm,
I mean, you're not getting anywhere with that. So, but when you get a
yeah,
100,000 or more reward at closing, well, it makes a whole lot of difference. So.
that's right. That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So is that your focus, the multifamily right now?
It is large multifamily exclusively. I figured that out. Sometimes it takes us a long time because there's so many shiny objects around and things to
Hmm.
distract us, and we think that's the answer, that's the answer. But the answer is really to dig deep into your history and what you can bring to the table and where your heart and your passion is, and go in that route, because it's a team sport, real estate, right? So we
Right.
all have a part to play, we all have value to bring to the table, and we also have weaknesses, and that's why we build a team, right? We bring in the experts in those areas of weaknesses to get the deal done, and we all get rewarded
Right.
accordingly, right?
Right.
So yeah, I'm thinking of
Oh,
writing
cool.
another book, in fact, on all this, because um, I think with the strong community that Pace has built, it's quite unique. Um, there are other communities, but it's quite unique in as much as it's built a lot of trust and leadership and the way it's structured it. It's probably the easiest place to build a team, your team, and be successful in this space. So, yeah, do you have any questions or anything you want to ask me?
So yeah, so you're in the Gator community, right?
Yeah.
Are you what is your goal within the community? Are you just networking? Are you
Yes.
doing any Gator deals?
Yeah.
What's your goal?
So it is networking. Find those who finding limited partners for multifamilies. And I'm Gator Wrestling for the large EMDs, things
Hmm.
like that. The, we learn very quickly that you shouldn't use your own money. You make money to live off, right? And it's lifestyle.
Right.
You give it, fulfill your goals, the lifestyle you want, give it away, whatever. But any money should be generated. We should generate that through networking, through partnerships, and what have you. You know,
Right.
you
Right.
get paid accordingly. So my hat that I'm wearing as in large multifamily is acquisitions manager, and so as well as a capital raiser. So that's what I'm concentrating on. So there's opportunities for you. Um, Several opportunities. You could be a connector. You could come across somebody who has money they want to deploy in large multifamilies. If you find somebody, then you come on a Zoom where we do the offering memorandum, the OM, and you see how it works, the breakdown, and if they throw the money into the ring, we get it to close, then you get paid as a connector. Or if you wanted to help with the EMD, there's two ways you get paid. You get paid at closing your fee in both cases, and in one of the most popular ones is to roll that original EMD to be an LP position where you get quarterly distributions and a share in the equity. So you get paid three times. You get your fee, your quarterlies, and the share in the equity. And the other one is just to get paid at closing, the whole thing, get your fee back, So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you have somebody looking for those types of opportunities, or is that something that you're doing?
That's what I'm doing, looking for those opportunities when I get one. It sounds like it's one or two, maybe a year is my goal. So it's not like
Hmm.
it comes up every week. When it does, this is what the networking is about, to really prepare for when I do find that opportunity. I can pull a Zoom, pull people together, raise the funds and acquire the property. So that's the goal.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of patience, one or two deals a year, you know?
Yeah, and that's all it needs, 'Cause,
Yeah.
but if I find, for example, this is an example, and this will blow your mind, right? If I find an apartment complex and it's $20 million to acquire it, and that's not unusual for 100 doors or more, not unusual.
Hmm.
Okay, as an acquisitions manager, I get 5%. That means at closing, so that will be $1 million payday.
Hmm.
So you only need one or two of those, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
sure.
I
Sure,
mean,
sure,
it's
sure.
good pay. You can live off that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then you got other roles you can play with that as well, because as an acquisitions manager, I'm a general partner, so I get a share in the equity as well, and quarterly distributions. So there's many different ways to get paid. As I say, it's a good game to play if you're looking
Hmm.
to build up wealth.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, so what could I do to help you out?
If you find people who have large sums of money they'd like to deploy, then you will bring them along, as I say, on the Zoom call when I send you an email, and you will get paid as a connector. Or if you wanted to be part of it, you could do both.
Hmm.
Be a
Okay.
connector and gator wrestle with EMD. If you gator wrestle, you form a partnership, an LLC, and you deploy the funds as an LLC. That's how that
Hmm.
would work. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
Good deal. So you're not doing any kind of like gator wrestling right now, residentially, like single units or anything like that?
No, no, that would be a distraction. This takes all your energy and focus, and it's good to
Hmm.
focus on one thing. Um, then get scattered. In fact, it
Hmm.
takes a lot of effort to even get a single family. It's not a lot more effort. Okay, there is more effort, don't get me wrong, but it's not a huge amount to get these
Right.
large deals with large multifamily than single family. If it's a straightforward, easy thing, like you may notice, watch Pace carefully when he does a single family. It's handed to him on a silver platter. and he
Mhm.
just and he's even doing a Zoom. He even will sign the papers, and then that's his part is done. It's like, he's multitasking. He hasn't spent any time in it at all, right? So,
Right.
right?
But
So,
he has built a team to be able to get to that point. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it gets to that point by networking, the social media presence and the influence. It's all built up that way. So it's networking and it's all part of it. So it's like the sprinkles on top of a cake, right? The single families.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Right.
almost a
Exactly. Yeah.
consequence of him doing the networking and the concentrating on the lodge for multifamilies. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Mhm.
Well, you definitely have my information. If you ever come across something that needs assistance and funds or whatnot, I'd love to take a look at it, discuss it with, people that I know that have some money.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's probably a big jump for them because they've just been doing, you know, the private money stuff, 6 to 8 months at a time, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So those are
so,
not
but yeah.
probably the types that we're looking for. I mean, they may be open to it, you can mention it, but it's largely those who have already done it and know it and looking for it because they've had a good experience, a good return
Mhm,
on the money,
mhm.
so and they don't have time. They just want to throw their money in the ring. They're accredited investors, so they're
Right. Yeah.
people who've
Yeah.
made the money, right?
Yeah.
So
Is that one of the requirements? You want them to be accredited?
yes, largely the unaccredited. I mean, we're not going to turn anybody away, but those projects come in more rare than accredited. It's
Hmm.
accredited that's probably going to turn up in an email. And it's not hard to find them. They're professionals, making good six-figure salaries, and jobs that they do, the CEOs, doctors, lawyers, you
Hmm.
know, uh, high managers, in the industry or whatever. The dentists, right? People who make some serious money. And there are plenty around, and they don't want it sitting in their bank. They don't want it sitting there doing nothing. And maybe they've
Right.
thrown it into the stock market and lost money, and they don't like that. They want something steady, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Cool.
mm,
All right. Well, I appreciate your time.
absolutely. Thank you for turning up. I appreciate you, Neil. And
Now,
if you
I
have
have one
any,
other question for you. Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say, but don't hesitate to book another call with me sometime if you would like, or questions or anything like that. All right.
That sounds great, man.
That's-
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. You have a wonderful